Hallo julle, in die tweede les van Phila se kind kyk ons ook na die agtergrond. Ons kyk 'n bietjie na motiewe en ander dinge. Onthou in les 1 het ons gekyk na die karakters en waar die verhaal afspeel. Ek sê weer, julle moet asseblief seker maak dat jy eers die drama lees, want anders sal jy nie mooi verstaan wat aangaan nie. En daar is weer Daleen Mattheus, 'n groot boom daar in die Nysnabos. En as jy ooit eendag daar is, gaan stap die roete, is pragtige roete. En natuurlik die olifante was in daardie jare, toe die drama afspeel, was daar natuurlik baie olifante. En dis natuurlik een van die groot gevare in die bos. Kom ons kyk na uiteensetting of eksposisie. Nou dit is die verskillende belangrike momente in 'n drama. En dit is natuurlik in elke drama kry jy dit. Die uiteensetting is wat jy meer leer oor die agtergrond ook, nee. Dis in die eerste bedryf, begin ons waar Elias se monoloog, hy praat met homself op die verhoog, on stage, nee. En die karakters in die agtergrond word bekend gestel. So we know the characters and we get a glimpse of the background. Phila se gesin word ook in die Lange Kloof bekend gestel. You will find it on page 42 to page 40. Nou, as julle daar kyk, sien julle op die prentjie, kan julle sien, dit is Phila se eenvoudige, very simple living, maar sy was netjies, hulle was skoon gewees, en ons weet hulle boer met volstruise. In die begin het ons gesien, hier's die bos, is baie eenvoudig geteken, en dit is waar Elias, die van Rooyens bly, en hier is die Lange Kloof. Kan julle sien die berge, moes hulle oorgaan. Phila moes oor die berge kom na die dorp. Hierdie is die see hier heel onder. Goed, kom ons kyk gou na die motoriese moment. Motoriese wanneer die verhaal aan die gang kom. Die manne van die sensus wat kom doen, het opgedaag, they arrive. En daar is die manne van die sensus, kan julle sien, ons sê dit is lange, die lang enetjie, en dikke is the slightly obese guy. Hulle besluit, Benjamin moet Nysna toe gaan, want dikke het onthou, daar paar jaar terug het daar 'n seun verdwyn, 'n van Rooyenkind, en hierdie wit kind moet 'n van Rooyenkind wees, so hulle moet hom terug, hulle besluit hy moet teruggaan. En dan die ontwikkelingsfase. Ontwikkeling sê vir jou, develop, nou gebeur die dinge vinnig. Phila prepare Benjamin, dat hy Nysna toe moet gaan. En die gebeure volg nou vinnig op mekaar. You will find it on page 52 to page 110. So daar in die huisie, is Phila besig om Benjamin vir hom te sê, wat kan hy verwag in Nysna? Want hy weet nie waar is Nysna, of wat van hom gaan met hom gebeur nie. So sy berei hom voor, she prepare him to go to court. Die crisis sê vir jou, the crisis phase, Bartha herken is recognize, nee? Erken is admit, but herken is recognize Benjamin voor die magistraat, as die seun wat weggeraak het, the boy that disappeared. Hy word weer Lukas van Rooyen. Just there in court, they've decided that this Benjamin will become Lukas van Rooyen. The double name, the confusion, part of the theme, nee? En hy vertrek bos toe saam met sy sogenaamde ouers. Can you see it's inverted commas because they were not his parents. Bartha en Elias were not his parents. 'n tweede keer het sy vir Benjamin gelieg en sy het gesê hy is haar kind. That is Bartha. Remember we had in lesson 1 that Bartha, she could determine what will happen to Benjamin. And because she lied, he was in such a worse situation because he had to grow up now with the Van Rooyens. Die climax of die hoogtepunt, Bartha erken, sy het iemand anders se kind geneem. She admit. Sy sê, right at the end, okay, you were not my child, nee. Want Lange, one of the census guy, he whispered in her ear, and he said, vat vir daai seentjie met die blou hempie. Maar dit was nie Lukas gewees nie. Sy besef dat die beender, the skeleton, wat gevind is langs die Omtini, that is the river, haar en Elias se kind se beendere was. So actually their son passed away, nee, want daardie tyd was die bos, in the forest you can get lost very easily, and that is actually what happened to their son. He got lost, and Well, the people say maybe it was a baboon eating him or whatever, but he got lost and that maybe he had no food to eat, and that is actually what happened to their own son. Goed, kom ons kyk na die ontknoping, the end of the drama. Lucas word nou Benjamin Kamuti. He decide, no, he can't live with the Van Rooyens. He doesn't agree with their values, and he's Benjamin Kamuti. And he went back to Lange Kloof. This side was Lange Kloof. This is the Lange Kloof, 2 words here. And this was the forest. Ons sê dis die bos, die Knysna bos. That's why this is so green. There you see your elephants. And that is the court in Knysna. And there you have your Knysna heads, nee, die Knysna koppe. So die spanning neem af. It's not so stressful anymore. Nou die tyd in konflik, let's quickly look at that. Die vertelde tyd was in 1865 to 1882. This is what happened during that stage. Now you can imagine, that's years ago. Maar op vertel tyd, it's only 2 hours on stage. Daar's 3 bedrywe, there's 3 acts, there's a lot of scenes, but only 3 acts. So 2 hours on stage, but it took place in those years long ago. Die uiterlike conflict that you can see is Phila in die regstelsel en Lucas en Elias en Nina. So you can see Elias, he was very rude to his own children. And he forced them to work, and that's uiterlike conflict. Nee, he hit them, he kicked them. Maar die innerlike inner conflict, was Phila se geloofstryd. She was always busy praying and asked God to protect Benjamin and his sons and her husband. But she couldn't understand, why did this happen? Why did they take Benjamin away from her? And Lucas also, hy het nie geweet wie hy is meer nie, hy het gevra, wie is ek? Okay, let's look at the ruimte, the milieu waarteen het afspeel, die buitenruimte, die gehoor kan dit nie sien nie. Nou die gehoor is the audience, dit beïnvloed wel die gebeure. We can't see it on stage, because remember there's limited space on stage. Die binneruimte, die gehoor sien dit, ons sien die Lange Kloof, die bos en die see by Knysna. The scenes change every time. Maar dan is ook 'n spiritual space, nee, of agtergrond. Die gehoor is hiervan bewus, hoewel hulle dit nie sien nie. For example, the relationship between brown people and white people. Ons sien die wit mense and the white people staying here in the forest, they think they're better than brown people, but die ironie, the sad thing is actually that they are very poor, they don't look after themselves, they don't look after the children, education is not important to these people, and these people, they are neat and tidy, they have a purpose in life, they taught their kids maths and all kind of subjects, and values and norms. So that is die ironie sê ons, en dit is ook die verhouding tussen die bruin en die blanke mense. They look, the people here from the forest, they look down on the brown people, and it should actually be the other way around. Nee. Die vertellersperspektief, dis 'n alomteenwoordige verteller. The storyteller or the drama teller, of course, is everywhere. It was here in Lange Kloof, it was here in Forest, it was in the court, it was here later on in the story, met die skip in Knysna, en by die olifante en by die volstruise, en dit is 'n kaart, die karretjie waarmee hulle gekom het. Phila en Benjamin, Lucas se gedagtes, sometimes they talk to themselves, or we just get the thoughts in brackets. You can't hear it, it's not, but it's only the thoughts, gedagtes. En Phila se beskrywing van die Lange Kloof. We know this area so well because Phila can describe the area so well. The aloes, the ostriches. She gave the ostriches names, because it's very close and dear to her. There's a lot of symbols. The first one is die bos, die forest, is dark green. Maar natuurlik, jy kan baie kos ook daar kry. Ons sal sien hulle stapelvoedsel, die Van Rooyen se stapelvoedsel is sweet potatoes, patats. iets onheilspellend skuil in die bos. Everybody is a bit scared because there's the elephants, nee? En daar's iets onheilspellend, iets scary. Elias se familie is nie oop en eerlik nie. It's almost, can you see the comparison? Elias' family is not open and honest. Hulle is racisties, they are racist. Die lange kloof symbolize weer alles wat droog en hard is. It's a very dry, hard area. They depend on rain and it's not raining there often because it's part of the Klein Karoo, maar it is lig, but on the other hand, it's light, it's open, just like Phila's family. They're honest, they reliable, what you see is what you get. Dis wat jy sien is dit wat jy gaan kry. And then the ocean, die see is die plek waar jy Benjamin kan vlug om objectief. He can be very objective. Excuse me, na gebeure kyk, nee. Baie objectief. Die ander simbole is Nina se botteltjies. She's got the small bottles en sy wil graag wegkom. She wants to get away from her dad. Sy wil wegbreek van die bos en daarom begrawe sy die botteltjies that no one can get it. Nee, daar diep in die bos. Die twee name van Benjamin en Lucas wys op die verwarring, confusion en soeke na identity. In die Bybel is Benjamin se ma Rachel dood met sy geboorte. This is just a comparison with the character in the Bible because Benjamin se ma is dood met sy geboorte. Now, one of the questions can be, but if Benjamin is not Phila's child, he is not Phila's child because he's a white boy and Phila, of course, the family is brown. He was not Lucas van Rooyen, he was not the child of Elias and Barta. So then the question arises, who is Benjamin or / Lucas? Now, in the Bible, is Benjamin se ma Rachel dood met sy geboorte. Now, there's a story, we don't know the truth. It can be one of them long ago, die ma is dalk dood, his mum passed away and she just left this little boy in front of the back door. It can be anybody, nee, ons weet nie wie is sy pa en sy ma nie, we don't know. Die klasseverskil is arm ongeletterde boswerkers, the forest, and then we have the richer, educated dorpsmense, people from town. We will meet Miss Weatherbury, we will meet Mr. Goldsbury, nee, ons sal hulle nog ontmoet. Die Afrikaners en die Engelse in Knysna en omgewing. Now, till today, there's English-speaking people in Knysna, a lot of English-speaking people, and also natuurlijk die Afrikaanse mense. And those years, Phila was so Afrikaans-speaking, and of course the Van Rooyens too. But when she went to court, she was looking for someone that can understand her because she can't convey her feelings in another man's language. So she asked for someone that can speak Afrikaans. Here we have the bruin mense met die wit mense, die wit houtkappers en die bruin volstruisboere, the colored ostrich farmers and the white wood cutters, nee, die houtkappers. Goed, daar is ons bronnelys en ons gaan die volgende les gaan ons kyk van bedryf 1 toneel 1. Tot dan.